Hey guys, final episode for Hawkeye, episode 6. Okay, I don't know why I'm dancing. It kind of breaks my heart, but this episode gave me all of the feels. I was laughing, I was crying, I was dancing, you name it. I had to pause it a few times to compose myself to finish the episode because it was that good. Also, there were moments, and I'm going to talk about this for a minute. Now, a lot of this episode was centered in Rockefeller Center. Kate Bishop's mom was throwing this Christmas party. Of course, it's their Christmas episode, which makes sense. Like, the whole 6 episodes were, like, hey, like, Christmas is right around the corner, blah, blah, blah. But what I love about this is they actually filmed this last year. So this actually makes sense, okay? You got to understand, we're in 2021 now. They filmed this in 2020, and this is why it makes sense. The Rockefeller tree last year came from Oneonta, New York. Okay, just let me explain this. There was one previous time it also came from Oneonta, which was back in 2016. Was it 2016? Yeah, it was 2016, okay? Now, I grew up around the area of Oneonta. Heck, I'm wearing my Oneonta hoodie, okay? Represent. Now, I am not in Oneonta, so don't come search for me. I am in the region, okay? I'm nearby, but I'm not in Oneonta. Also, Oneonta has, the only reason I have this is because the Starbucks is at the college. So we are getting a new Starbucks. I'm super excited. Which, funny enough, I thought I was drinking from my Christmas cup, but apparently I have my Marvel cup today, which is fitting, right? Now I do make my coffee myself, so just saying. Anywho, but why am I bringing this up? I am bringing this up because last year, a sweet little owl went from Oneonta, New York, all the way to New York City. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember that. Now, the great thing is, this owl was returned to the area. It was rehabilitated. In fact, this week it was just released back into the wild. He is doing wonderful. We are so happy. But the funny thing is, yesterday, so the day before this episode came out, I went to go grab my own little version of the owl, which we call it the hide and seek owl. It's a new tradition that the area is doing, where you get your owl, and yes, you can only buy it in this area, just saying. You put it in your tree, and then every year you hide it in a new place. Whoever finds it hides it again. Okay, so here's our little owl. He's so cute, isn't it? And a lot of this money goes to the proceeds to help the rehabilitation center. So why am I talking about this? Well, in this episode, we have our sweet little owl is featured. Okay? I freaking loved it. Okay, we're gonna show you. We will show you. But I just wanted to give you guys, I am just hyped up on this owl. He's so cute. And I just had to pause it and be like, oh my God, like, that sweet little owl. So, yes. All right, that being said, we're representing my neighborhood. All right. Now, another fun fact. I actually worked in Rockefeller Center. This was back in 2011. I worked right around the corner of where they were filming from. Obviously, this was way back before that. I don't miss it at all. I promise you guys, I don't. It was, what a time. I also worked at the Disney store, so just saying, that was in Times Square. Anywho, let's get into the Easter eggs, because there's some good ones. And then I'm going to talk about more on the actual happenings of the episode, because I want to give you guys more of a chance to watch it before I give my full talk. I don't want to give a lot of things away, so if you want to skip forward, I will be talking about that immediately after we do the Easter eggs. Okay, now, final episode, Hawkeye, episode 6. We learn that this guy is the kingpin, and that Kate Bishop's mom was working for him. He is also Maya Lopez's We also know that Kate and Clint are working on battle plan, and we're about to see that in play in the next scene where they create new arrows. You'll see Stark Industries. Obviously, Clint has a connection with Iron Man. I didn't take a picture, but Kate Bishop, from the previous episode, she was like, I don't even know which arrow is which, and she was kind of going in it blind, but she actually used the label maker to name the arrows, which was quite clever, but super cool effects. Then I did also mention that the owl that came from Oneonta, New York is in here, and again here, but also in this last one, this is our last Easter egg, Clint mentions Ling, and so what he used to create that shrinkage was Ling's knowledge, and so he doesn't have any clue on how long it'll take for them to get big again, but we do see the owl swoop the miniaturized truck back up and take it elsewhere, which I thought was super cute. So still more links into the MCU universe. We still know he's an Avenger, but they don't talk that much about other characters beyond Natasha very much within this season, this series. Okay, those Easter eggs, right? All right, now, if you do not want to hear my review and you don't want any talking of, what actually happens in the episode, I will advise you to either click away or pause it, go watch the episode, and then come back, whatever you want to do. But I am going to give spoilers at this point, okay? The only spoiler I gave before was that they featured the owl, which was not a major spoiler, okay? Not a major point of the story. But yeah, anywho, now on to what actually happens. Oh boy. First of all, Yelena, she cracks me the frick up. I love her. I loved this arc for her. I was so hoping that it would come to her. Obviously, it was during that fight, but it would come to her that she would understand that Natasha she wasn't killed. Like, she sacrificed herself for the good of people. Now, we did learn back in, episode 5? Yeah. We learned back in episode 5 that Yelena actually disappeared during the snap of Thanos, okay? So she didn't understand the whole concept of why Natasha did what she did. Now, do we know if Natasha knew that Yelena disappeared? We don't. We can just assume that she figured that out. Now, I love the fact that, hold on for a minute. On TikTok, people have been speculating whether Natasha told Clint about Yelena in the first place. I knew that he knew. He just probably didn't see pictures because he didn't first picture her. You know what I'm saying? But I had a feeling that he knew all about her. They were very, very close. And I know a lot of people kind of shipped them, so they wanted them in a relationship. But it was more of a best friend, brother-sister dynamic. I wouldn't say brother and sister, but they were best friends, and I love that for them. I really did. They were so close, right? Now, obviously, every relationship, whether you're friendship, dating, etc., will have some issues within it, right? There's going to be little things. But they brought out the best in each other. And you could see how much Clint was struggling with what Natasha did because he never felt like he deserved it, especially after creating the character, his alias Ronin. And so this entire season was him making up for that, basically. Correcting the consequences to his actions, basically, right? So all these things are happening. Now, the other thing is, Kate Bishop is a badass. I love her. Now, I am still catching up on the comics, so don't come at me for this. But I love that she is becoming Hawk Girl, right? Isn't it Hawk Girl? I'm pretty sure it's called Hawk Girl. And now we laugh about it at the end of the episode. Yeah, it's Hawk Girl. No, Hawk Girl is DC. Damn it. Hold on, guys. So it's Kate Bishop. What does she go by? Okay, here. Funny. Okay, so I'm actually on Wikipedia right now. And she goes by Hawkeye, Hawkette, Lady Hawkeye, Lady Hawk Guy, Hawkshot, and Lady Hawk. Which was a joke, by the way, in the last episode, the very end, which was really, really cute. Now, in the comics, she was in the Young Avengers, West Coast Avengers, Avengers, and New Avengers. Obviously, in this, she hasn't fully made it there yet, but we're learning more about her, right? So that's fair. However, her mom is quite something else. Now, there was a lot of mystery in this series, but we got our answers in this episode. This really put an end to things, but at the same time set us up for a second season, right? It really said that, hey, so Hawkeye and Clint and Kate are now partners in the terms of Avengers. And he really took her under her wing. Clint took Kate Bishop under his wing, especially with the arrest of her mom. Okay, like, let's just be real. Her mom was not as good as we thought she was. I also loved that her stepfather, who ended up taking the blame for a lot of things, makes a comeback and is badass with that sword, okay? Like, he is badass, and he turns out to be a good guy. Like, who would have known? He was completely set up. He actually truly cared and loved Kate and her mom was just an evil person. And you could see that wealth really did get to her. Like, no, that's not what normal people do, Kate Bishop's mom. Like, let's be real. Most of us, in fact, majority of America does not go and try to kill other people or go to mobs and mafia and all that jazz. So, Kate Bishop's mommy, hear me out. Don't be evil, okay? Don't be evil. That was a terrible accent. But now, Yelena, like I said, we've already talked a little bit about her. I loved her fight with Kate. She's just so funny. You can tell that Yelena does not want to hurt Kate at all. Like, you can just tell. She really does like Kate, because she could have easily killed her. But the line is, "Don't make me like you," was so funny. I loved it. like seriously. All right. Obviously, there were the Easter eggs to the other Avengers, which, well, needed. I love that they showed the scene where Hawkeye was making the new arrows. By the way, badass on that. I love that scene where they were fighting. But I love the fact that Kate Bishop literally took the label maker and was like, nah, Clinton. Not Clint. Wow, Clint. Not Clinton. Clint. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. We are going to label these suckers. Like, we're going to know what's what and not be like, surprise. So I thought that was really funny. And you could tell that she was super excited to use some of those arrows, which was great. I love that the LARPing people came in and Clint was like, we're going to die. But they didn't die, okay? They really didn't. And while Kate Bishop's mom was evil, she did actually care about her daughter, and you could tell, right? Now, I didn't mention Maya Lopez, the cousin, and the Kingpin yet. So the Kingpin, obviously, we find out who that is in episode 5. we learned that Kate Bishop's mom was working under him, and she was the one that hired Yelena. But we also learned in episode 5 that the Kingpin, whatever his name is, the Kingpin, was Maya's uncle, so the cousin's dad, and that the cousin was originally supposed to be trained to take over. But he had like this weird love for Maya. Maya finds out that it was really him who killed her dad. And so this whole thing, right? So Maya has now completely flipped and understands that, oh shit, I was wrong this entire time. What the hell? That whole couple of scenes, because it's kind of intermittent throughout, is super important. Right, we see the development. Now, I did talk about this in previous episodes, where in the comics, Maya Lopez does become Ronin. Now, how they're gonna work that into the MCU, I have no idea, especially considering the very end of this episode where Kate and Clint are at his farm now and they burn the outfit. But who knows? All right. Lastly, last point on this was there is an after credit scene, the post credit. You can honestly you can skip it. It's not like a major plot to it, but they show a scene from the Roger the Musical, which is what started off the entire season, right? And it's one of their scenes from the show. I will say, I actually enjoyed that scene. It's skippable, but that's something that I would consider going to Broadway to go see if they did a musical on the Avengers. I don't know about you guys. I know it's kind of weird, but I thought it was kind of funny, kind of fun, whatever. All right, that's all I got for you guys for Hawkeye. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below. I'll see you guys in the next few videos.